Here we go. Who's ready to talk about Streamlabs? I know a lot of people are kind of out of it, or there are things that you may not realize that's going on. There is a lot to cover with the situation. So again, I'm going to do my best. A lot to cover. I got a lot of links for you guys. So basically what happened is there was an announcement by Streamlabs and Twitch support about a new collaboration with Twitch and Streamlabs called Streamlabs Studios. Today, we're thrilled to announce a partnership with Twitch and Streamlabs Studio. Now you can turn your Xbox gameplay into an entire live stream production by adding alerts, overlays, and widgets without a PC or capture card. Learn more. Twitch support also did tweet out their own announcement about it here and a help article. And quickly, a company called Lightstream, you may not have heard of them, but they've been around for a while. This tweet, hey, can I copy your homework? Yeah, just change it up a bit so it's not obvious you copied. Bet. And Streamlabs copied everything that they have, that Lightstream has on their page. Not just the design, but word for word. They copied everything. Let me zoom in here. You can see if I can open this image in a new tab, just so it's easier to see. So word for word, on the left, you will see Lightstream, and on the right is Streamlabs Studio. Literally identical, the exact wording. They literally replaced Lightstream with Streamlabs Studio. Use Lightstream to select your game source and design your stream. Use Streamlabs Studio to select your game source and design your stream. Cloud capture for console streams. Cloud capture for console streams. Crazy. Word for word. So much so they even copy the testimonials. They copy the testimonials and then just change the name of them. Like, amazing. I didn't know about the testimonials. Yeah. And for those that are wondering, the testimonials for Lightstream are actually legitimate. Twitch partner, iamBrandon, actually used to work for Lightstream, and he is the one who gathered those testimonials. And Ferris Storm on Twitter has been posting evidence of his testimonial for Lightstream being legitimate. So they took their testimonials and then just renamed the names. Someone I think looked up Jason Dokidis, and it's not even like a real person or anything. Like it's not even a real streamer. Like, remote control from your couch. Like, create different preset scenes so you can easily change layouts between games. It is identical. So yeah, this blew up a lot. People are really outraged. Obviously, like, how could you not be outraged about this? This is horrendous. This is awful. This is so just like, so Streamlabs ended up responding. And this is what they say. We made a mistake. Text on the landing page was placeholder text that went into production by error. This is our fault. We removed the text as soon as we found out. Our intended version is now live. Lightstream team is great, and we reached out directly to them to apologize. Now, here's the curious thing. If it was placeholder text, why did they change? Like, why did they make any changes to the placeholder text? Why did they change the name of the streamers in here? If it was just placeholder text, why did they even bother to change this part, right? You know, why would they do that? Why would they even bother to replace it with Streamlabs Studio? Like, why? Weird. I don't think anyone bought that. I love this response here. You made a mistake, like when you took open source software, changed the UI and put it behind a paywall, or when you copied Elgato's Stream Deck app, or when you subscribed users to your premium service without their consent. Ah, okay, and that's just scratching the surface. So we're gonna talk about all of that. So, yeah, I mean, this is totally unacceptable. It's a BS excuse. And so other companies have been coming out and chiming in on their experience with Streamlabs. Elgato responded with a subtle jab here by taking a screenshot of control your live stream from your phone with Streamlabs Stream Deck. They didn't even change the name of Elgato's Stream Deck. They just called it the Stream Deck. They didn't even change the name. Same thing with Streamlabs OBS. They did not even change the name. Now Streamlabs Studio, they did change the name. They didn't call it Streamlabs, Lightstream. I guess that would have been 2 on the nose. So, but wait, there's more. Warp World tweeted, they reached out to us when our startup was barely born about a cryptocurrency donation service, OneUpCoin, with a let's collaborate to bring this to more people tone. Only then to take everything discussed and do it themselves as pioneers. They're not the only one. You also had Join Combo, which is a way to convert Twitch clips into TikToks, Reels, and Shorts. Streamlabs reached out to us back in February asking a lot of prodding questions about Join Combo, only to launch a copy of our product a few months later. This is a pattern. We also had a subtle tweet by Streamloots who said, this is too real, we feel that. All of these companies coming out and saying that they have experienced either direct plagiarism or like, you know, trying to pick their brain, just straight up like stealing other people's ideas and then just recreating this. I don't know if you guys remember the Bit Cup thing. You guys remember? You guys have seen Bit Cups. They're not as popular anymore, but there was a time where Bit Cups were super popular when bits first came out, where you cheer bits and they fall into a cup, right? That was first created by a company called Muxy. And it did not take long for Streamlabs to just replicate that identically. But yeah, that was first created by Muxy. Fun fact. So, you know, that's just one of many, many things. You know, here we have some direct examples of them taking other people's ideas, using the same name. And now, probably the biggest thing to come out of this, near the launch of Slobs, Streamlabs reached out to us about using the OBS name. We kindly asked them not to. They did so anyway, and followed up by filing a trademark. We've tried to sort this out in private, and they have been uncooperative at every turn. We're often faced with confused users and even companies who do not understand the difference between the two apps. Support volunteers are sometimes met with angry users demanding refunds. We've had interactions with several companies who did not realize our apps were separate. Legally, they have obeyed the terms of the GPL, but they have repeatedly disregarded the spirit of open source and of giving back. Despite these actions by Streamlabs, the OBS project will continue to provide free open source software and tools for everybody. We will continue to support our users, the community, and our amazing developers for their hard work. This is like level 1,000 out of 10 scumbaggery here. You had, you know, the mindset to actually ask OBS if you could use their name. They said no, and you still did it anyways. Not only did you use it, but then you go and file a trademark. And not only that, guys, but this is what they do. When you Google OBS, this is what happens. Streamlabs OBS comes up first as an ad. So they pay to be on top of OBS. Now you might say, well, this is a common business practice. You're going to advertise on top of your competitor. Except it is super extra misleading because they call it Streamlabs OBS and free professional OBS. They are deliberately misleading users. And even if this is a common business practice to put ads on top of your competitors, it is super scumbaggery on top of everything else we've talked about. Like on top of all of this, it is just like, it's over 9,000 on how just awful this company is. Like what they did with Lightstream, obviously really awful. Like I feel that in my soul. But to Streamlabs OBS is built on top of OBS. So they took a free open source piece of software and they named their own the same thing with their name on it. And they also put a lot of their services behind a paywall. So they're profiting off the work of OBS project. Oh, and here is another little bit of fun fact information, by the way. So one thing about OBS being free and open source is you can actually support OBS, right? Streamlabs does not sponsor OBS. They do not contribute money to OBS at all. So that's really cool. That's really great. So they just make money off OBS. They stole their name. They advertise on top of them. This isn't it, by the way. There's so much, we have so much more still to talk about, but I definitely want to highlight this because OBS project does amazing work. They have been so integral in the streaming community. Like I don't think streaming would even be here without the presence of OBS, something that is free, accessible, open source. And to have a company come in and just basically steal and use their hard work for their own profit, and then just like completely just like honestly just like poop on them in every level, right? Like I just feel so disgusted by Streamlabs actions. Now, a lot of people thought that this was a partnership. I mean, that's how skewed it is. People thought that Streamlabs and OBS partnered to make Streamlabs OBS. They thought they were working together to put this together. It's awful. Like I'm just baffled by the fact that they did actually ask if they could use the name, and they said no, and they still did it, and then filed a trademark. Like, what? Like that is unacceptable. Like, that's so screwed up. I just can't, like, this, I went to sleep thinking about this. I went to sleep, I'm pretty sure I dreamt about this tweet last night. This is horrific. I don't know if you can come back from this situation. I don't know what you can even say about the situation. So let's keep going, because there is a lot more. So we had some reactions from around the Twitter sphere. We had Baru, who tweeted that he is removing Streamlabs as a sponsor of his channel. We had Hassan coming out and saying, basically Hassan and both Pokimane have threatened to stop working with Streamlabs if they don't resolve the issue. So Hassan tweeted, "I will never use Streamlabs again if they don't immediately resolve this matter." Pokimane on her alt account says, "Streamlabs better resolve this entire thread of issues, or I'll be asking them to take my face off the platform and look to use another donation service." Now, it's obviously good to have, like, you know, these high profile creators saying something, but realistically, what's going to happen? What do you expect the resolution to be? They're not going to change the name. Are they going to change the name of Streamlabs OBS? No, they're not. There's no way in hell. I would be, my mind would be blown if they changed the name. They've put way too much investment over smearing Streamlabs OBS on top of OBS. I just don't see them changing the name. If they do, you know, that would be a really like impactful change, but they have a trademark for it. They've invested way too many resources into the name. So I don't know. I would be amazed, but we'll see what happens. Like, Pokimane is on the front page of Streamlabs. So we also had some former employees speaking out now too. So basically, this started a whole domino effect, right? We have all these companies coming in saying they've had awful experiences with them, and now we have employees actually coming out and saying things too. "During my time at Streamlabs, so many people in marketing were reprimanded, put on PIP plans, and or fired for speaking up against unethical business practices to the point where they basically got rid of their entire marketing team by late 2018. You see stuff like this blow up today and wonder, how did they do that? You'd think someone in the room would have been like, hey, this is a bad idea, right? Right. Streamlabs fires those people for not being team players." Another person says, "They got rid of me because I didn't like the way the support manager was handling the night shifts. My coworkers were running wild, not doing their work, leaving a load of it just to a couple of us. I got fired for wanting to become her equal and speaking up about it." The original poster ends up saying, "Remember when they put me in charge of the TwitchCon booth 3 weeks before the event with no resources and fired me immediately after for being stubborn about making it wheelchair accessible." Ouch. Yikes. Oof. We also had a tweet by 8-Bit Dylan, who applied for Streamlabs, and they wanted him to do so much work just to be considered as an applicant. So this is what they said. "Hi Dylan, thanks for applying. Here's a short assignment we ask all applicants to complete. 1. Make a Google Doc spreadsheet with the top 100 individual streamers by average CCV. Include their follower count, language, and whether they use Streamlabs or not. Exclude esports tournaments. Number 2. Make a list of Streamlabs' top 3 competitors. Explain why you chose those 3 versus others. Number 3. Do you currently stream full-time or part-time? Number 4. How does Streamlabs OBS compare to other streaming softwares? Make a table comparing pros and cons with others. Number 5. Name the 10 largest streamers that you have the strongest relationships with. 6. Write an example email of how you'd contact the streamer that you're hoping to convert to Streamlabs." Oh my god. Do a market research for us things. That's just to be considered. The sad thing is, you know that there's people that did this. So Dylan responded, "Hello Streamlabs staff. I'm happy to have a discussion and I'm confident that I have the aptitude to be able to perform job duties similar to this. However, asking these types of very involved tasks seems more like consulting work than an interview process. If there's a way to further the discussion without unpaid work, I'd be interested in talking more." By the way, 8-Bit Dylan now works at Twitch. So I guess, you know, Streamlabs lost. and Twitch's gain for not making him do a million things of work. Like, this is what? This is crazy. Awful, 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 awful. I'm sure there's more like this coming out. This is not also the first time that Streamlabs has engaged in shady practices. I mean, I feel like we're kind of building up a whole portfolio here for them, but Frisk reminded me of this clip. I don't know if you guys remember this. Streamlabs in 2020 started clipping any donations made to your channel, and by default, it was automatically enabled. So they had a bot that was so appropriately named, by the way. It was called Jack the Clipper. No, I'm not even kidding you. That was an official Streamlabs bot. Yeah, they were going around just like clipping people, clipping your donations, your reaction to donations. I don't know why. Who knows what they use that for? Automatically enabled by default. Weird practice, right? Oh yeah, that's acceptable. By the way, forgot about this one. The amount of combos I saw and Slack messages I wish I screenshotted that basically amounted to, can we lie about our features? AKA like slobs taking less resources lol. And quote, how do we make it easier to accidentally sign up for things is crazy. Cathartic to see this all coming out. You guys may have heard of something called, I think it's called Streamlabs Pro. And when you tip someone through Streamlabs, you can add a little pizzazz to your tip by signing up to Streamlabs Pro. Now the problem is, it is so subtly integrated because there's no steps to approve signing up for Streamlabs Pro. You check a box and then you will start getting charged monthly on your account. Now, this is a rampant problem. It is probably one of their most answered questions. You can go through Streamlabs tweets and replies, and they constantly are like having to help people that have this charge in their account that they don't know where it came from. This is where it comes from, but it's just so integrated into the process. I don't know about you, but I feel like if the majority of your users are really confused or unaware that they're being charged monthly to your service, probably need to fix that workflow a little bit. But apparently, according to former employees speaking out, this is a very common discussion that they've had, is how can we make it very easy for people to sign up for things, for them to start taking your money. So go ahead, friendly PSA, check your credit card statements, check your PayPal statements, and see if you've been getting charged every month by Streamlabs. So the pattern continues here of that there's a mountain of just shady, absolutely shady, disturbing, unethical business practices that Streamlabs engages in on the regular. This is a historical thing too. This is not new. This is not a new thing. So let's rewind a little bit and talk about the history of Streamlabs. Join me on a little bit of a journey and see that this is not the first time that they have done really scummy things. So here's a Streamlabs blog post about the launch of OBS version 1. It doesn't say what year this is. But if we go down here a little bit, we get to learn a little bit about the history. Vulcan acquired Twitch alerts in the fall of 2015, quickly rebranded as Streamlabs, and immediately got to work seeing how we could expand functionality and cater to all the needs of a Twitch streamer. So Streamlabs was owned by a company called Vulcan. So Vulcan was actually involved in a couple of issues with the FTC. Here we have I'm not going to go through these in super detail, but just so you know a little bit about the history, a little crash course here. FTC approves final order in Vulcan deceptive app installation case. So they got in trouble with the FTC for that. This company also called out for lying about CSGO jackpot ownership. Don't know if you remember this. This is definitely a throwback. This is back in 2016. According to multiple sources, including one former employee, Vulcan purchased skin gambling website CSGO Jackpot last year and may even be continuing to operate it to this day. Awesome. Totally normal. Good stuff there. For those who don't know, Streamlabs is actually owned by Logitech. Logitech acquired Streamlabs 2 years ago in a deal that gave Streamlabs $89 million in cash. I think additional 30-ish million, yes, 29 million in Logitech stock. So Logitech actually does own Streamlabs. And so I do feel that there is responsibility to Logitech for what is happening right now. Now, maybe it's not their fault, but they do have responsibility. Now you might say, well, I don't know, do we blame Amazon for all Twitch's trouble? So well, yes, we do. And also, I think it's even more Logitech on Logitech than I think we put on Amazon for Twitch, because Logitech is a creator-focused company. Amazon does all this other stuff. They're not really in here, right? The way that Logitech is in this space. So I do think that there is an increased responsibility for Logitech to address these issues and to do some really big changes to change Streamlabs. And I don't even know, like, this is like, again, we talk about with the Blizzard thing, it's kind of the same thing. It is such a widespread issue throughout Streamlabs. Like, I don't even know where you start with this kind of change. But because Logitech, they have partners with streamers, they build streamer products, they work closely with streamers, they're in this space, they have the responsibility to create ethical practices and change Streamlabs around for sure. You can't just own Streamlabs and let it do its thing, like being a complete scumbag and hated in this industry, and then have Logitech, which to me, I think had a very positive perspective. I think a lot of people view Logitech favorably. You can't just make them immune to anything that Streamlabs is doing, especially because this isn't like a new acquisition. This is 2 years ago. And you can't say that like Logitech didn't know Streamlabs was doing this stuff or didn't know about Streamlabs' past. I mean, they have an FTC report. They've had media out about them. So yeah, I think that Logitech is definitely a part of this situation. I don't think they should be immune to the criticism here. Yeah, I know that was a lot, but yeah, related, we had the CEO of Lightstream. This should have been earlier, but just to throw it in here, the CEO of Lightstream, you know, ended up saying something. I think this is the tweet that I saw that got my attention. The team at Streamlabs should be ashamed, not satisfied enough to ride OBS project's hard work. Now to copy ours down to layout and every word on a marketing site and our UX in this product. And this tweet has gotten 2,000 retweets and 12,000 likes. All in all, Streamlabs is incredibly shady. There's just no excuse. There's no excuse, not for this one thing, not for their history, not for anything they've done since. I'm sure there is more. I'm sure more will come out. I'm sure more exists that won't come out, unfortunately. You know, I really just don't have anything nice to say about Streamlabs at this point. Like, they are a disgusting company, and they're a company that, like, I would not want around this space. Now, personally speaking, as someone who has a small company, Streamer Square, we don't have investors or anything like that. And we make really good things, and we are just as susceptible to a company like Streamlabs just taking our idea and being more successful because they're already more popular and they have infinite money. They literally like pretty much have infinite money, right? They can do whatever they want whenever they want. And so it's pretty scary to see a company out here in this space doing this kind of thing. You know, I personally don't want to see this company be in this space doing these things when I'm trying to be in the space and doing it ethically, right? Doing it the right way. I try. You know, it's pretty awful. Yeah, a lot of companies coming out and like saying that they've had similar experiences. So I would be curious to see if there are more that end up coming out. I mean, this tweet, like, where was it? Oh yeah, this one. Like, can we lie about our features? Like, I mean, this is super damning right here. The streamer industry, something is only original for a bit, then gets copied. Elgato's upset because Streamlabs made similar apps to control the stream, yet Elgato makes a camera to compete with Logitech. Yeah, making another camera, right, is not the same as like, okay, yeah, like the idea, right? Like, okay, so sure, Streamlabs, you know, they copied an idea, and that happens. You're right, that does happen. They took the name too, though. I think that's a little too far. I don't know about you, but to me, okay, taking an idea, okay, you know, it happens, I get it. But then taking the name, you know, they did the same thing with OBS. And they trademarked the name Streamlabs OBS too. I think that's a little too scummy. So if you are a Streamlabs user and you're wondering, oh, well, I don't want to use this terrible company anymore, what do I do now? So I would say the best alternative that exists is StreamElements. It is also free to use. Everything is all in one. They have ways to import your account from Streamlabs. So you can import your alerts, some of your data. I think there's more too that you can import. So they do a lot of that work for you, so you don't have to start over from scratch. You know, check out the StreamElements website. This is not an ad, but I use StreamElements, and you know, I've had so far a good experience with them, and they have some tools to help you import everything over, so you don't have to start over. Breaking news, guys. Streamlabs is shutting down. Streamlabs is shutting down forever. Just kidding. We are taking immediate action to remove OBS from our name. Streamlabs OBS is built on top of the OBS open source platform. Streamlabs OBS is also open source and our code is publicly available. We take responsibility for our actions and will support the community. Oh, wow. I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised. I did not think they would do this, and I did not think they would act so swiftly. I mean, this is a good positive change. So good to see. I mean, this is again very tip of the iceberg. I'm honestly not 100% in support of this. By changing the name of the product from Streamlabs OBS to something else, now they're obscuring the upstream open source platform they depend on. Well, hopefully they provide some credit to it. But I think it is better than what currently exists. I'm very cautiously optimistic. It's a start, but it's a very superficial change, right? Like, yes, it's positive when we can acknowledge that, but that doesn't erase all of the other things we've talked about today. And it doesn't even change their actions, what they've done to this point. They're only doing this because they've been called out on, not because they feel wrong about it. And that's kind of like the frustrating thing about when these things happen. Like, it's never because they felt it was wrong, because Streamlabs talked to them privately to try to change this. They told them no. They continued to make decisions that were unethical every step of the way. They're only doing this because now people have found out and because people are upset. They don't really care, right? They're not like, oh crap, this was wrong. They didn't even apologize. They're not even apologizing for doing this. It's like, you know, you give it one positive point, but there's still a lot of negative around it. Not even an apology. All right, let's go back. Let's look at the live reaction. Only taking responsibility because you're getting hardcore canceled. Damage is done. Everyone knows what you're made of. Other people's work. I hope your business crumbles. I love Shannon. Shannon is ruthless and I'm here for it. Brime is just a code name. Brime. Oh God. What about Lightstream? Well, what about it, Brandon? I mean, it was a mistake. It was an accident, clearly. Was it just a placeholder? Yeah, it was just a placeholder. Stuff like this is so interesting to watch unfold. A company this big. Has Logitech said anything? Are they just hoping people don't realize that Logitech owns Streamlabs? What's the TLDR on this? Streamlabs has very scumbag practices, is the TLDR. Further, they continue, they copy products and names of products, and they steal ideas. They'll meet with companies, smaller companies that have something cool. They'll pick their brain and then make their own version of it under the guise of wanting to work together. They used to engage with CSGO gambling. They've been in trouble with the FTC. All in all, their employees are often ridiculed if they speak out about unethical practices. And they very often have conversations about how they can lie marketing-wise about their product.